So me and my friend Sean were working late at night. After we got finished with our shift, me and Sean head to my car and drove out to the road. Since our houses are a little far, I decided to drop off Sean first at his house before going to mine. As I drove to the road with the headlights on, there wasn't a single car and no streetlights. We live in Oregon, so there were forests and trees in the middle of the road. I still kept on driving. Then all of a sudden, Sean said that he had to pee. Since he drank a few waters during the night shift, I slowly stopped the car and Sean went off to do his business. I was feeling very tired since it was late at night, so I got out of my car just to get some air and trying to stay awake. After a few seconds, I heard a man's voice saying, "What are you doing here?" Startled, I turned around thinking it was Sean, but it wasn't Sean. It was some man, probably in his 40s. His face was dirty and was wearing a black blanket. I looked down and I noticed he wasn't wearing any shoes, only barefooted. I didn't know what he was up to, but I asked him if he was alright and if he's hurt or if someone did this to him. The man stared at me with no emotion and angrily told me, "You and your friend should not be here. You need to get away from me at once." I didn't know what this guy was talking about. I didn't know if he had a gun on that blanket. Then I heard Sean's voice. I turned around to see him running towards me. Sean asked the man, "Who the fuck are you?" The man said to me and Sean, "You two should get out of here right now, because in 1 minute, you're about to witness what's inside of me." Sean yelled at the man, telling him, "Look, we don't know what your game is, but if you're planning on robbing us, you better get out of our sight or me and my friend will bust you up." The man pointed at me and Sean and angrily said, "I'm warning you too. I'm running out of time," before I turned into Sean interrupted the man, telling him, "No, you better get out of here unless if you want me to beat you up myself." I told Sean to wait a moment. I didn't know this man was high or something, but for what I can tell, he didn't look drunk, but he looked very serious, like he really wanted us to get out of here. The man angrily yelled, saying, "If you don't leave, I'm gonna..." Sean punched the man in the face. The man fell to the grass. I pulled Sean back, away from the man. I asked him if he was out of his mind. Sean said to me, "We can't trust this man. He could be trying to rob us, or do something worse." Sean could be right, but this man didn't seem like he wanted to rob us. He just wanted us gone. That is until the man got up. Me and Sean looked at the man as he lifted his head. He started to shake up like crazy. Me and Sean said nothing as we both looked at the man confused. The man's mouth hung open as we heard bones cracking. Then he stopped and looked at me and Sean. The man's face, it looked almost different. It looked like his face was changing. He started laughing slowly at me and Sean. I noticed his teeth are not normal teeth. The man had sharp teeth in his mouth. He said that was a mistake. Me and Sean were freaked out by this man, or whatever he is. Then I noticed something. I looked up to the night sky. It was a full moon. The man took off his blanket and threw it right at me. I grabbed the blanket and threw it to the ground. The man wasn't wearing anything. He was completely nude. I looked as the man's body started to grow, even growing muscles, and there was fur growing from his body. I looked down and noticed that his legs were changing into what looked like wolf legs. Me and Sean had enough watching. We got in my car and I tried to start the car, but it wouldn't start. I tried a second time, but it still wouldn't start. I looked through the window and see that the man's head was transforming into a head of a wolf. I tried to start the car one more time, and thankfully It started. I drove past the creature, not looking back. I drive as fast as I can go. Then we both heard a big howl. I still kept on driving. Then I noticed through the corner of my eye, Sean was looking back, and he shouted, "Oh my god, it's chasing us!" That startled me when he said that. I looked through the rearview mirror, and I was shocked. Through the rearview mirror, I can see the creature, or should I say, a werewolf. It was crawling on all fours. I can see that it was huge. It had big sharp teeth, a big snout, yellow glowing eyes. It had a head of a wolf. Its fur was black, and it had big claw hands. It jumped on the roof of my car. Me and Sean looked up, then the werewolf teared open the car roof. We both screamed, ducking our heads. I spun the car around in circles, trying to get the werewolf off my car. Then it flew off and it hit a tree. I stopped staying in the car and drove straight to the road. I kept on driving and driving, not looking back. Then Sean had the guts to look back. He yelled, "It's still chasing us!" I looked through the rearview mirror one last time to see the werewolf still gaining on us. I tell Sean to look in the back of my car to find and use something as a weapon. Sean started looking for anything as a weapon. Then he found a fire extinguisher. He lowered the car window and pulled out the hose. He started to aim it at the werewolf. He sprayed it at the monster, trying to blind its sight, but it wasn't working, as it's still chasing my car. Sean kept on spraying. I tried to think of something to lose the monster, but I couldn't think of anything else. Me and Sean were dead meat. Then, right in front of me, I can see a highway. I noticed there were cars and trucks driving on the highway. I was relieved. It was the only option to lose the werewolf. I told Sean to hang on tight. He sprayed the rest of the fire extinguisher. Sean realized it was empty, and he threw the fire extinguisher at the werewolf. It was getting closer to my car. I managed to get to the highway. I almost hit a few cars, but the werewolf was still chasing at my car. Then, at an instant, a truck hit the werewolf as it got run over. I kept on driving, not looking back. After a few minutes, Sean took a deep breath and looked back to see that the werewolf is gone. Sean said to me that it's gone. We both feel relieved. I drove to Sean's house. We quickly got out the car as Sean closed the door quietly and locking it. His wife and his kids were still sleeping. He turned on his kitchen light as we sat down on the chairs. We tried to gather our thoughts on what we just experienced and went through. We were mind blown. Then Sean's wife went to the kitchen and asked us what happened. We didn't know what to say because she might not believe us. Sean took a short moment before getting up and telling his wife that we were attacked by muggers and we managed to get to the car and made out safely. I had to follow with Sean's lie. No one was not going to believe us that a werewolf was chasing at me and Sean. After telling this to his wife, I asked Sean if I could sleep in his living room for tonight. He said yes. And the reason why I said this is because I was afraid that the werewolf was still out there somewhere. I lay on the couch in Sean's living room. I texted my wife, telling her that I'm sleeping at Sean's house and I'll be home tomorrow morning. She didn't reply back. I guess she was still sleeping. I was exhausted from all of this, but my mind was racing. But I fell asleep quickly. When morning came, I left Sean's house and drove home. I got to my house and went inside. I saw my wife and kids eating breakfast. My wife asked why did I step over at Sean's house. I told her the same lie Sean did, telling her that a group of muggers tried to attack me and Sean, but we made out safely and they damaged my car. I showed her the damage on my car. She asked what happened to the car roof. I quickly made up another lie, saying they used a chainsaw to tear my car roof. After I told her this, we went inside. I went to go hug my kids, and kissing them on the forehead. I was happy to be with my wife and kids. Then, all of a sudden, a news broadcast was playing. Me and my wife watched the news. The reporter said that some kind of animal was in the highway last night and got ran over by a truck. And what he found was a naked, dead man laying on the street. I was completely shocked. That man that turned into a werewolf is dead. I called Sean if he was watching this, and he said yes. Him and his wife are watching it right now. Sean was relieved that the werewolf is dead. I was relieved too. If me and Sean never got to the highway on time, we would have been dead. After that, we never told our wives or anyone else the real truth. We went back to our normal lives. I got my car fixed, and me and Sean decided to work the morning shifts, and we're glad to be still alive.